Hey ghouls, Spooky Doll Lady Chris. Hopefully we're going to be finishing this little dude today. As you can see, I put the base coat on him. And he's got the masking fluid on his eyes. It is starting to peel off on this one, but I'm not too worried because I don't need to take the paint off yet. That's pretty much going to be the last step. I may not even do that on camera, just because I forgot to grab my rubbing alcohol and Q-tips. So what I am going to be doing today is I'm going to draw out a wing pattern and make myself a little pattern for his antenna. And I'm going to put those on. And I have my felt here, which I literally dug out of a scrap bin. So it's, yeah, it's here. I found it. I couldn't find it at first, so I was going to try and work with just this one little piece. And then I, at the last second, remembered which bin it was in. I think I said on my last stream, but you know, don't move ever if you can avoid it. Because the second you start packing things up, they are not where they're supposed to be. And my dumbass, being the goof that I am, just went and put all of my fabric into boxes, which I just labeled fabric. So I have like boxes and bins in another room over there. Basically the room in that back hallway where we're kind of temporarily storing everything that we don't need. I have like 5 boxes now that are just labeled fabric with nothing specific as to what's in them. So I put things in them that I thought I wouldn't need until I moved, and I thought I could get away with, you know, like not needing my giant rolls of felt until we moved, and that was 11 months ago, and we still haven't moved. So yeah, anyway, never move. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to try and draw myself up a little pattern for how I'm going to do this, the little furry bits, because this is the only piece of faux fur that was currently accessible with the way that I have packed up my boxes and boxes of fabric. So yeah, that's all I've got to work with, and I want to cover the whole chest and like part of the back here that isn't going to be covered by the wings. Yeah, so I'm gonna basically just kind of try and eyeball it, trace out a shape, hold that up to him, adjust the shape a bit, and then put it on here, cut it out, and glue that on, trim up the fur, and then get to the wings and antennas. Although on second thought, I think I wanted to do the fur first because I'm going to do the back and have the fur over the wings, but I think it might be easier if I just do the wings first. So I'm going to do that. I got to lay them down here so I can make sure these are both pointing kind of the same. These ones are really loose, but I'm not terribly worried about it because I figure once I get the actual wings on, it'll hold them on better. So actually, maybe I'll trace the side that's not loose. I'm in full chaos mode again today. I don't know if anybody can tell. It's been a day. So I have my cocktail in my mug here, which again, my mug is from Perfectly Twisted Creations on Etsy. And I've got raspberry margarita and a little splash of Kraken rum in there today. Just a splash because I'm not trying to get sloshy in the middle of the day. But y'all, it's been a day and I need a drink. Okay, so first, to figure out the scale of my wings, do I have a narrower pencil? I don't. Okay, I'm just gonna have to try and get in here. Okay. So this is as long as they are, and because I want them to go all the way onto his back, I'm going to give a little bit of extra length in the middle there. Okay. Now, that is the size that they need to be. But I'm going to get a shape in mind here. Okay. It's not what I want. Get out of my podcasts. Oh no. I am closing tabs. Oh my god. I'm fighting with technology today. I know that's nothing new. At least not on this channel. Okay. I had a tab already open with a reference image pulled up for the wing shape that I wanted. I don't know what happened to it. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I don't know what happened to the image I originally pulled up, but I'm basically just going to make the shape of the wings like the statue. Because also like the statue, I decided to give him, you know, a big old butt. So I figured I might as well base the wings on the statue too. I'm not going to go to the trouble of putting all of the holes in them. I'm also going to be putting felt on the bottom of his feet because, again, it's kind of a problem with this mold, unfortunately. That when you put anything on the face, it starts to get a little front heavy. So I'm going to put some felt on the front half of the feet so that he can stand a little better. Let's just put him over there for now. Alright, so got glare from my ring light. This is just... Okay, I don't need my battery pack right now. There we go. That's going to make it easier. Okay. So I want them a little bit smaller just because I want him to be able to go on a desk shelf when I do eventually move. And if I have like gigantic wings, that's going to limit where I'm going to be able to display him. So I do still want the basic shape though, which is like a nice arch here. Ending in, well, yeah, because I can bend the wire further up. That's not a problem. So just need to make sure that it stays longer than that. And then just kind of like a tattered shape. I think I am going to end up bending these more like this, which I kind of figured I might do. I did put the wires in specifically so I could move the wings around, so that's okay. Okay, let's retrace this shape a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be better. Okay. Let's go back over there for now. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to put this up here. And And the only gluing I'm going to be doing, basically, I'm going to cut 2 pieces for each wing. I'm going to glue them together, and then I'm going to do like a little casing around each piece of wire. And then the rest will just be open. So this is be a little taller. I guess I can make them a little taller. These figures are they're a little short, so should be able to get away with making it somewhat tall. I may have to move my octopus just while I'm drawing because it's in my way. Alright, so I'm going to do this, bring it kind of back out just a bit, and then sort of, maybe not quite so arched. Bring it in like that. Oh my god, that eraser on this pencil is such garbage. Where's my other pencil? Also, yeah, I'm going to be reaching for things that are on the floor because in order to clear off my table, I literally just put things on the floor. I can't put anything away right now because there's boxes where everything is supposed to be, because I've been trying to move for 11 months and I'm still in the same house. Okay. So, let me hold this up. Oh, I could probably even go a little bit wider on that bottom bit. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm gonna do. Mothman, don't fall on your face, please. Okay. I also kind of want to create like one little bit that's going to come out a bit here. And then we're going to go down and come back out. Oops, maybe not that far. Actually, let me do it this way. Go out and then up. I think that'll work better. So you have kind of like a almost like a bat pattern, but not really. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think. I really gotta put the felt on his feet before I do anything, I think. Because I don't want him falling over the whole time. Yeah, okay. I like that shape. Paper, scissors. Alright, so it's pretty smooth on the cuts here because I think it'll be easier if I just cut this out smooth, and then once I have everything glued on, I can kind of shred the edges. So just do one more check that I'm happy with this. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Okay, so let's figure out the chest piece. So I of course moved my froggy tape measure, so I don't have my flexible tape measure here. So go like a pinky length. Eat that far down. I'm just gonna angle up. The neck should be about here. And then I'm gonna bring it back down, a bit round. Fold that in half. This is super rough pattern making. Normally, if I'm going to make a pattern for something, like I do proper measurements, I do the whole like couture measuring system, but I kind of feel like that's just a bit excessive for this particular project. I need to make the neck a bit deeper so that I can go up and over the shoulders. Well, not over the shoulders, but I want it to get like all the way up. Okay. And that's actually a little bit longer than I wanted. Although, maybe not. This actually I think is going to be a good size because then I can glue this on and trim the edges once I get it on him so I can make sure it's exactly the right size and shape. So that actually, eyeballing it, worked pretty well. Make sure I label it. Mothman Tony. Just so I don't accidentally throw that away with my scraps before I manage to cut it out. Okay, and the back, let's see. I may not do the back just yet because I think I may just take like a little round piece and put it over the wings. Because I don't want to create any bulk in this area underneath the wires. That's going to affect how posable the wings are. So I think that it's going to end up just being like a little, probably like a little oval shaped piece that's going to go right there. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is trace out a foot so I can cut a felt piece to go on the feet so he stops falling on his face. So the one thing that I really wanted to do for Mothman that I'm not going to be able to do, at least right now, is I wanted to put an iridescent finish on him, but when I went to the craft store, they didn't have the iridescent finish that I wanted, and I'm just not really in the headspace to be trying any new, totally new materials right now, so I didn't want to get one that I wasn't familiar with. So he's going to have a matte finish instead, which I think is probably going to be more accurate. But I just thought like a cool iridescent finish would be extra moth-like. So I may just put that on his eyes whenever I do eventually find it. Also, there's like a bunch of crap on my table, more than usual, because when I went to the craft store, I also bought other things that I wasn't really planning on buying, but there was a sale. So I bought this little box, which I thought would be kind of cool to just store like props and things in for my doll photo shoots. So you can get a little preview here. I've cut out a bunch of mini blockheads that I'm going to be working on soon. I got a couple of bunnies, some black cats, a couple of bats. This one's going to be a mummy. Oh, also, I can pull out these little guys that I've been making these. I'm probably going to end up putting some in my shop at some point because I've kind of become addicted to making them. So they're just little needle felted jelly bean bunnies with, I attach the arms and the legs with eye pins so that I can move them. This one accidentally ended up really skinny on top and like way more like curvy and jelly bean shaped than I intended because I accidentally forgot that I had already used my little bag of wool, and it takes like a full bag of wool to make one of these. Um, the little like teeny tiny Ziploc bags, not like a big bag. It takes like the full one. If you buy the kits that have like 20 of them in there, it takes the full mini size bag of wool. And I forgot that I had already used some of this color purple to make my bat that I made on stream. So I accidentally ran out and was like rationing it halfway through. So this one ended up super skinny on top, and he's not actually like all that solid, unfortunately. Like, he is super wobbly because there's not enough wool in his top half. So he's gonna stay with me in my Isle of Misfit toys. um, but this one is kind of more what they're supposed to look like. And then I already sent off the third one that I made, which is the smaller size, which is just two round little pieces. Is not quite as long as and skinny. It's more of a short and round kind of bunny. Um, but anyways, yeah, I'm gonna put those away and get back to what I'm doing. I'm very ADD today. I have all of this stuff, and it's very distracting because I'm not used to having all of this extra stuff. But like, it was cool stuff and I wanted it. I also got this, which is a doll size dresser, so I can finally start putting like some of my like the socks and the little shoes and the little things away. But right now in it, I just have these little carrots that I bought at the dollar store. Oh yeah, there's the head for the other doll that I'm gonna be hopefully painting on a stream in the future. And then the top drawer is just full of these bunny erasers that I just got because they were really cute. I don't think I can use them to erase anything. But anyway, yeah, I bought that too. I'm going to be painting those at some point. Maybe on stream, maybe not. I just bought them because I wanted them. Because I have a problem. I can't stop buying craft supplies. Alright. So, let me get back to this. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller because I don't really want it to show. I don't want it to look like he's standing on anything. I just want it to kind of blend nicely. So I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. And then once I get it to hide, I'm actually going to take a little crescent off of the back half because only the front half really needs the extra. Okay, so see that hides pretty well. So I'm gonna take actually let me keep it on him and trace it. Oh no. It fell off of the foot and there we go. Okay. Just take off like about that much off of the back. And that's going to just slightly tilt him backwards, which should hopefully stop the falling on his face. Alright. So I'm going to cut these and glue these on before I do anything else, just because I don't want them to keep falling over. Because I'm worried that eye that I managed to fix is going to get damaged again. Okay, here's my white pen. This is good thick felt. I almost wish it wasn't quite so thick, but that's okay. Actually, I'm going to cut these along this edge where it's kind of, I'm guessing this was the raw edge, or not the raw edge, the selvage edge. Um, but it kind of thins itself out on that side, so I'm going to cut that so that that's at the back. Um, and that should help enhance the leaning him backwards to stop him falling. So let me do 2 of these. Okay. Oops. I'm going to cut these with my fabric scissors, but I just want to get this off of here so I can get the big heavy thing of felt off of my lap. Because that's going to get real warm. Okay. Oh, I need to plug my glue gun in. Whoopsies. Just kind of trim the little fuzzy bits off. Oops, I forgot I tilted my camera. There we go. Okay. I remembered to put background music on this time. I don't know if it's loud enough to be audible or not. But I remembered. It is the Creepy playlist from Purple Planet. Which, if you follow any spooky narrators on YouTube, I'm sure you will have heard at least some of these music effects on their channels. This is a brand new glue gun, so... Hey, first time chatter. The other Ginge. Okay, love the username. I am doing alright. It's been a bit of a day here, so... Doing my best. Hanging in there. I was cutting fabric and not even wearing this shirt, but there's like little pieces of little fabric lint all over my table that keep getting on me. Alright, ooh, I taste that Kraken. I don't normally put any extra shots of anything in my margarita, but I was feeling a little feisty today. Okay. I don't know how long this takes to heat up because it's brand new. So I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute. Oh, well, I do try. I had one on my last stream, I think it was, that was a French name. Well, it was a French word in the username, and I didn't read it in French, even though I am fairly fluent in French, and I I felt kind of bad. I was like, man, I should have gotten that one. I am making a little Mothman figure. Hopefully finishing him up today. It's my second figurine from the NerdECrafter Not Another Crap kit. This was my first one. My little alien guy. And he was inspired by those gumball machine aliens that were absolutely everywhere in the late 90s. Which I collected as a kid, and I kind of based him on my favorite one, which was dark blue and had a bunch of glitter in it, and I thought it looked like a galaxy, so I painted him up like a galaxy. And I haven't decided what I'm putting in his hand yet. He will eventually get something in his hand. I haven't picked yet. So this is my second one. don't mind the masking fluid peeling off of his eye. That was a little premature. It wasn't meant to peel off yet, but we'll get there. Yeah, so I am doing his little wings, and oh, I forgot to do an antenna. I have to make him antenna, and then I'm going to do his little furry tummy with some faux fur. Let me sketch out an antenna while I'm waiting for my glue gun to heat up. But yeah, the one problem with this mold, unfortunately, is that it tends to end up a little front heavy. So whenever you sculpt anything onto the front of the face, they topple forward. With this one, I was aware of that, and I intentionally added extra clay to the bottom of the feet to make him stand more sturdily. And with Mothman, I just forgot. So instead, I cut out some felt that I'm going to put onto only the front half of his feet, and I'm hoping that that will help him to stand up a little bit better. Yeah, see. So I just gotta glue those on. But I forgot to do his antenna. Alright, so let me stand you back over here for a second, Mothman. Okay, so that's going to be my length. I want to give it a little bit of extra just to account for the fact that I couldn't get all the way down to the head on the paper. I'm going to give it like a nice big fluffy structure because moth antennas tend to be very fluffy and kind of diamond shaped. So I'm going to cut it like this, and then once I get them glued on, I'm going to cut little like slits along the edges to make them like furry, like a moth antenna. So do that, fold it in half so that they are nice and symmetrical. Oops, maybe it would help to cut so I know where the bottom is supposed to be. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's okay. You should never feel bad for not being good at something. Like, especially when I've been doing these figurines on stream, I'm not confident whatsoever in my sculpting ability. I took a sculpting class my senior year of high school. It was the one and only pity A I've ever gotten in my life, because the teacher of that class had heard from other arts teachers that I was a gifted art student, and I got to his class and he was convinced I was just dicking around and like not putting in effort because I was so bad at it. I've never been so bad at any artistic pursuit in my life. And so yeah, he was convinced that I was just not trying until about like 6 weeks in, when I nearly broke down because I just couldn't get it. But yeah, it's, you learn as you go, kind of. Oh, thank you, but these are actually plaster casts. It's the sculpting on them that's the only sculpting I did, like the sculpting onto their heads and adding the eyes and stuff. The figures are actually cast from a mold that looks like this. Well, it looks like this right now because it's already prepped to mold another one as soon as I'm ready. Um, but yeah, I've done like minor sculpting things on my channel, and it's just a matter of, it's just practicing. Like you get better at anything as you keep doing it. And that's kind of what I learned, because I started sculpting again. um and this, I also talked about this on my last stream too, I think. No, this was a couple of streams ago, because it was the last time I had clay in my hands that I was talking about it. But I actually had tendon surgery in one of my hands in January of 2022. No, 2020. What am I saying? January of 2020. Um, and I needed to do. There we go. Had to get it started there. I needed to do physical and occupational therapy afterwards, and kind of just started playing with clay for the first time in over a decade, just to try and like get my hand working again. Um, and I realized it was actually really fun, even if I was not good at it at first. So I just kept doing it and just kept making things. And I don't think most of them were very good, the first few things that I made, but I really enjoyed it, so I kept doing it. And I think that I have gotten better over time, to the point where I'm not really self-conscious about it anymore. I just kind of do it. And if people don't like it, I don't care. Like, at first my justification was, yeah, I know I suck, but like, this is therapy, so it's physical therapy for my hand. I gotta do it. And then as I realized how much I was really truly enjoying it, it was, I don't care if it's not good, it's fun. Oh, it's not working. Maybe I may need to do a second one. I didn't account for the fact that once I glue them on, it's gonna flatten out. So yeah, see, I think it's just not enough. Although, maybe once I get the other foot on. We'll see. Yes, exactly. Art is subjective. It's really just a matter of if you like what you're making. I mean, it matters a little bit when I start trying to sell things, but like, I haven't really sold anything I sculpted, other than a couple of dolls that I sculpted details onto. Like my Pennywise doll sold real quick. That was probably one of the first sculpted things that I sold. Um, let's see. Nope. Still needs apparently a little bit more on the front. So I'm going to cut a couple more of those out of my felt. And I'm actually not going to trim off the back half this time. I'm just going to cover the whole thing and let it sort of blend. And then I think that that will hopefully give them some balance. So let's try this. He is a drunk Mothman right now. He's celebrating St. Patrick's Day too. He must have his own booze mug somewhere off camera. Alright, I'm just going to put this right onto his foot this time. This is a brand new glue gun, and it's always weird the first time you start up a brand new glue gun, because it takes a while for the glue to really get itself in there. But I'm actually really liking this glue gun a lot. I bought it because it said dripless, and I was like, there is no way that any glue gun doesn't drip at all. Like, all glue guns drip. That's what they do. But You know, this one hasn't dripped yet, so. Oh my god, I love it. Drunk on Bud Light. Yes, this is a very pun friendly channel. Okay, I think this is going to work better. I'm just going to have to. The other thing I can try is what I do with my plush art dolls, my blockheads, when I do the stand-up guys, is I put rubber shelf liner on the bottom of their feet. And usually that does a pretty good job of keeping them standing. I just need to get him to stop immediately falling. Because if he's still wobbly, that's okay. Because once I put the wings on his back, that's going to add some weight back there. So wobbling is okay. I can't have him immediately face planting. Like this, he seems okay. Nope. I think I may have pushed the felt onto, yeah, I pushed the felt onto this foot a little too enthusiastically, and it's not leveling him out the way it should. So let me see if I can actually peel that up just a little bit and add a bit of glue in there to raise it. I'll let that cool just a little bit and see if that'll add a little extra height. Yes, all right, woohoo! Okay, that worked. So I'm gonna do the same on the other side of this foot and just add a little extra height back into that front half with the glue. Okay, so yeah, I just pushed a little too enthusiastically because I don't actually want it to be completely flat. That's the whole point, is to, there we go. See how nice he's standing now? Much better. Okay. Yeah. All right. So give that a second to dry, and then I will trim those up. And I can cut out the wings and the tummy bit and the antennas and get the glue off of me. All right. Where are my little scissors? Okay. All right, well, I mean, it does show a bit from the front, but I think that's okay. As long as he doesn't fall over. It's not, like, really obnoxiously visible. And if I trim too much more off, then he's gonna fall again, so I'm gonna leave that as it is. This one. Oops. That took a little bit of paint off, but that's okay. Paint can be fixed. I kind of just always assume that when I put a base coat of paint onto something, I'm going to end up having to touch it up before it's completely done. And at least with Mothman being pretty much all black, it's not really a big issue. I know. I don't want him to fall over either. Okay, so he is still a little bit front heavy, which is okay. I'm not worried about that right now because, again, when I put his wings on, it's going to put more weight onto his back. There's no weight on his back right now, so as a little wobbly is okay. As long as he doesn't, immediately face plant as soon as I set him down, we're good. So let's see. I think I'm going to do the antennas next, and then the wings. So, oh, here's the antenna. Okay. Just cut myself a little strip here. I don't want to have this on my lap if I don't have to. It's going to get real warm real quick. Be different if I wasn't drinking. Where did I put my white pen? Here we go. Let me try this way. Line that up against the edge that I cut. Heat erasable pens do not write super well on felt, but that's okay. As long as I can see what I'm doing. All right. It is a raspberry margarita with a little splash of Kraken. I don't normally put extra shots in my margarita, but I just felt like it because it's been a day today. All right, so that's what the antenna is going to look like. I'm going to cut three more of these, so I have one each front and back. I'm going to only glue down the center, and then I'm going to put little cuts down the sides so they're nice and fluffy. I'm going to put him back here. Oop. I actually had this mug custom made for me for my streaming because it's kind of like a running theme on my streams that I drink margarita in a mug. So this is my margarita mug. Not enough booze for this booze sheet. Which makes more sense when I'm playing horror games because that's when I'm like, nope, this is bullshit. Need a big drink. But it's still fun for my craft streams too. Okay. So I'm going to put these onto the first antenna. Yeah, I love it. My friend Jen made that. She has Perfectly Twisted Creations on Etsy. Okay, put the second half on. Pull that back up. There was a little bit hanging off of the bottom there. I don't really want a lump of glue on his head, so I think think that's good. Go. Stick that together in the middle there. And that should cover the wire. And then leave those sides nice and open for me to put the little slits into. Get rid of the glue strings. I'm going to try and trim off this little bit of glue that peeked out through the bottom. I know I'm going to scratch the paint on his head, but I can fix that. I'd just rather not have a blob of glue hanging out. Yeah, it's kind of a problem. But the problem with having artistic friends is that, like, even if you don't go into their shops, I'm always going to see their stuff because I still follow them. So, yeah, she posted the original ones that she was making, which were not enough coffee for this boo sheet. And I was like, oh my god, I need one of those as my streamer mug to put my booze into. And I already had a t-shirt that said, I'm here for the booze. And I was like, yes, that's perfect. I want booze mug. Alright. So, nice and fluffy there. I may actually go in later with my little scissors and just take teeny triangles out so you can actually see all the fluffiness in there. Oh, cool. I'm being raided. This is my second raid. Thank you. Awesome. From Win Gaming YT and Grandmother's Bloomers. Lovely name. That's fantastic. And Christina's Leather. Thank you. I've only been raided one other time. This is exciting. Okay, so I'm going to do the other antenna now. Welcome, 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 guys. We come in peace. That's perfect, as I was just showing off my alien earlier. Awesome. Perfect. I am doing pretty good today. Day didn't start off so nice, but it's getting much better now. Started my stream in full chaos mode, which is always fun. But I got myself my margarita, working on my Mothman, determined I'm going to get this little dude done today. He's been sitting on my table half finished for like a month. Maybe even longer than that, I don't know. Poor guy, he's been there a while. At least a few weeks. Yes, yeah. My streams are kind of becoming... It's sort of becoming a running theme that they just start in utter chaos. I don't always intend them to be in that way, but they just often do. I was doing real well for a while at not being like super chaotic. Like I had a routine down. I was streaming twice every week. I had an actual schedule that I was starting to be able to stick to. And then I got COVID in December. And it kind of ruined everything. And I'm still trying to like get back into an actual routine. Um, but it sort of multiplied the chaos of having started packing my house to move 11 months ago and then not moving. Um, because we're still house hunting. So, like, I've been living out of boxes, and then I got COVID in December, and, like, all house cleaning went out the window because I was sick for, like, 2 months. Um, so, yeah, every stream is now chaos because it's literally just, do I feel up to streaming today? Cool, we're gonna do something then. I have no idea what's gonna happen. And it generally is just like whatever I happen to have on hand that I can do, I just do for the day. And I'm often not prepared, so I'm like running around in the background trying to find things. Um, my resin crafting stream was especially chaotic. Where I actually was trying to make Mothman's eyes on that stream. Um, but I hadn't ever made anything colored with resin before. So it was just sort of an experiment of like, how do I color resin? Um, and it's UV resin, not like two-part resin, because I'm pretty sure two-part resin, you can pretty much put anything in there. As long as you don't make it too liquidy, it'll still cure. But like UV resin is really touchy. So I kept ending up with like giant red like pimples. And I was basically like, it was like a Dr. Pimple Popper stream because I just kept exploding these gigantic resin blisters unintentionally. But obviously I did end up with proper eyeballs eventually. Yeah, is it chaos if it's a daily thing? I don't know. Yeah, I am doing better now. Aside from the fact that I was continuing to have a lot of like shortness of breath issues, which I wasn't sure if it was um, due to my asthma getting worse or like a lingering effect of COVID. So I went to my doctor and I had blood tests done, and apparently I'm like super anemic. So, I mean, at least it's not, oh God, glue strings. At least it's not COVID anything, so I'm not as worried. Like, anemia is pretty manageable, I think. I hope. We don't know what caused it, so I can't say it's manageable yet, I guess, but we're hoping that I'm just going to be able to take some iron and then I'll be back to normal. But like, yeah, other than that, I feel a lot better. I didn't really get major symptoms. I got super lucky because I'm like on the high risk list for like 5 different reasons. Um, but thankfully, I had not only both of my vaccines, but also my booster when I got infected. So thankfully, I didn't get like really serious symptoms. I just had really awful fatigue. I for like a month was sleeping for like 16 hours a day. Like I would literally only be conscious for a few hours and not in a row. Um, that was pretty awful. So I definitely feel better. I don't feel like that anymore. I still have like random chest pain and I'm a little short of breath. So I don't know if like the COVID somehow made me anemic or if I just like I may have been slacking on making sure that I was getting enough iron because I was sleeping so much, and I wasn't like cooking actual food. That's my guess is that probably because I wasn't really taking care of myself because I was just busy sleeping all day. I probably just need to like readjust my diet and everything to fix it. Just trying to catch up on my comments here. Yeah, that's honestly that's what I'm thinking is that it may just be that like my iron is usually borderline to begin with because I have GI problems and I don't absorb things well. I especially have problems absorbing protein. So my theory is that probably because I was sleeping so often and um, not cooking food and just eating like instant everything, I probably wasn't getting enough iron for like months at a time. So it just may take a little bit now that I'm aware of it for me to catch that back up again. Yeah, I have a lot of chronic illness issues, so I am very much on board with the idea that my body is not collaborating with me. I'm pretty much at war with my body at all times. So yeah, I am starting to feel better. I have iron pills ordered. Unfortunately, because of the dietary issues, uh, I have to I have to be really careful because iron can make me nauseous, and if it sets off chronic vomiting issues, that becomes another problem because then I'm not getting any nutrition. Um, so yeah, I have some like gentle iron ordered, quote unquote gentle. I guess we're just gonna have to keep an eye on it and see if my iron goes back up. Otherwise, I think you can get like a blood transfusion if it's really low for an extended period of time. Um, but I don't want to do that if I don't have to, because obviously that's got other risks. Um, but yeah, it's just it's a common thing for people who follow my channel. They're probably like, "Oh, well, this is just another day." There's always something wrong with me. My body does not cooperate. Yeah, I never expect this many. Well, it's not so much that I don't expect this many viewers because I think I've had my popular streams, I get like 4 or 5 people popular streams, but usually there's only like 1 or 2 people commenting. So this is kind of nice. Let me just get this. I want to get his belly fur on so I can get the fur out of my way and I can do his wings. I'm not going to get it perfectly trimmed right now. I'm just going to glue it in the middle. But I also want to get the belly fur on because it's going to put more weight on his front again, and that's going to start leaning him forward. And this way, I can figure out if I need to add more weight onto his back, I can do that early on before I get the wings like perfectly in place. Let me just give him a little bit of a trim. I'll make it more of an attractive trim later. uh, we're just gonna be a little bit shaggy right now, Mothman. Okay. Yeah, see, that's going to pull him forward again. So I want to get that on there so that once I get his wings glued, if I need to put extra weight on his back, I can just like sneak an extra layer of felt into the wings. Okay. Yeah, the popping giant resin eyeballs. That was a fun one. I did not plan anything for that stream other than I wanted to make Mothman eyes. And I ended up, it was a lot of fun, but I ended up making a giant mess. I had resin like all over my hands and my table, and it was, oh boy, it was good times. All right, I'm going to cut a nice big piece of felt because I have to cut 4 of these wing pieces. Yeah, it was basically a pimple popper stream. Because for some reason, when I put I used acrylic paint to color the resin, which I did look up afterwards, and apparently that's like the entire reason I had issues, because you're not supposed to use that. You're only supposed to use alcohol inks with UV resin. But yeah, when I put the paint into the resin to color it, it absolutely would not cure in the middle. So it cured all the way on the outside, and then it was just like squishy blisters with all of this resin and paint goop in the middle. Oh my god, it was such a mess. Yeah, he does look a little like an evil bunny. I'll get his wings on and then he'll look more like Mothman again. Okay. Yeah, I often will just attempt things with no understanding of what I'm doing at all. I'll watch like a few tutorials on YouTube and be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to buy all the stuff. I'm going to learn how to do this. And usually I end up learning by failing miserably several times. Um, but I would, in the past, I would tell the stories to my friends of these things that were happening. Sometimes, like, as they're happening, I would just be like texting people, like, oh no, what's happening to me? And they'd be like, you need to put this on the internet. So I started just putting all of it online. And like every time I'm going to try something new, I'm going to put it online, because if I'm going to fail, I want other people to laugh with me. So now I just share it all, and I end up with like the accidental pimple popper streams because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun, and I do eventually learn. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm using the NerdECrafter kits, and that's kind of like the NerdECrafter proven and tested method, is to just jump right in with zero actual knowledge of what you're doing, um, and just kind of learn as you go. Yeah, so I make it's kind of hard to really describe any one thing because I do a lot of different things. I'm basically a disabled shut in real life, so I have a lot of time, um, a lot of free time that I'm just here in my house by myself, uh, with no one for company but a rabbit. So I just started collecting hobbies. I sew, I make doll clothes mainly. I used to sew for people. The one thing I learned from that is people are terrible clients, and I don't like working with the public. So I don't sew for people anymore. Instead, when I became a little bit too disabled to do my own cosplay, I started making character dolls so that I could basically make cosplay in miniature scale. Um, so I make those. I actually have several on the table behind me. Uh, Let me just get this traced out. So let's see who I've got here. I have Lenore from the Roman Dirge comics. Let me get her face here. I don't have her little skull clippies in yet because I'm still waiting on the doll-sized hair clips to get to me. But I carved her face. I made her eye chips. I rooted her scalp with yarn. And I made her dress. So this is kind of a little bit of everything that I do in one doll. Um, I also have, if you're into spooky indie video games, you may be familiar with these two. I have Franbo, who I carved her face and I made her eyes. And this is another example of something that I just jumped in without knowing what I was doing. Um, but when I made her eyes, I put a layer of resin down, and then I put the eye chip, and then I put the top layer of resin down because I didn't know how to color resin. So there's a layer of clear resin behind the eye chips, and then I painted the back of those, and it unfortunately had the effect of making the eye chips look like they're floating in her, or not the eye chips, the irises look like they're floating in her eyeballs. And it's really kind of uncanny and unintentionally creepy. So I will be redoing those eventually. Um, but yeah, apparently you're supposed to put the colored resin immediately behind the iris and not leave a layer of clear behind it. That's another learn as you go mistake. But now I know better, so I will make her better eyes in the future. And then also Little Misfortune. Little Misfortune's game is from the same company as Fran Bow. So those are actually two of my favorite video games of all time. I'm a big fan of spooky puzzle games. So these were actually two of my first dolls. So yeah, again, I carved her face. I didn't make this dress just because I couldn't find fabric with a plaid print small enough for this size of doll. I'm used to working with 18-inch dolls, so all of my sources for fabric and stuff are scaled for like larger dolls. So I will eventually make her a dress that's a little more screen accurate to her game character um, when I get around to it. But yeah, I still don't really have a good source for itty bitty plaid prints. But yeah, I make those. Sometimes I paint and build miniature doll furniture. Um, I do needle felting occasionally, mini canvas painting. I kind of just do a little bit of everything. I think my white pen here might be, yeah, my pen's empty. Um, Thank you. Yeah, I really love them. I like making them a lot. I actually have a few dolls over here that are carved and just waiting to be painted. This one is going to be turned into Edgar Allan Poe. Um, he doesn't look like much of anything right now, but I'm pretty proud of the eye bags because I've never carved eye bags onto a face before. Um, so that one's going to be Edgar Allan Poe, and then the other two faces that are behind me over there, um, they're Blythe dolls, and they're going to be my two little shop mascots, who right now just have uncarved, uncustomized faces. But like my shop colors are mint green and lavender, so they're like my little mascots that I kind of do a lot of my photography with for my shop. Um, yeah, so that's a little bit about what I do. I need to find white refills. Here we go. I had to refill my pen here really quick before I trace out this last wing. Oh my gosh, these pens are so hard to start. There we go. Yeah, he's just ahead right now. I actually have like a box behind me. I got a bunch of stuff on top of it, but I got it from Joann's around Halloween, and it says "Don't Wake the Dead," and it's got a big skull on it. And I use that to keep all of my random loose doll parts. So it's got like loose heads and bodies and hands and arms. Um, because I also do other dolls that aren't Blythe dolls that occasionally I just take parts off and then I just leave them in the part box for later projects. Uh, this is just, this pen is not cooperating. They don't write super well on the felt to begin with. I just need it to go enough that I can see what to cut out. But I think this might actually be easier if I just cut one out and lay it on there. But I also do like creepy baby dolls. Um, yeah, just kind of a little bit of everything. Which is part of why my streams end up so chaotic. Um, yeah, Yeah, my name is just kind of because I make spooky dolls. I make them, I collect them. My house is just full of dolls. I actually I live with my mom because I have health issues. I can't live fully alone. Um, so my mom works during the day and I'm basically alone, but like I'm not alone alone like somebody comes and checks on me. Um, anyway, yeah, she doesn't like dolls in general. So the fact that I make these scary dolls and then just leave them all over the house, she's not happy with. Um, Part of why we're moving is to give me my own space so that I can have a studio to keep my dolls in so that they won't be all over my house. Um, I mean, the main reason is just because we both have health issues and we need a house that's accessible for a couple of broken old ladies. But yeah, she also just wants me to have a room to put my dolls in because she is not a spooky doll lady. She does not like dolls. And they kind of just became my whole life. um, I actually didn't start collecting dolls until like a few years ago. uh, I think it was probably, well, it was maybe closer to 10 years ago now, but yeah, I started out just collecting and I make plush dolls called blockheads. And for a while, those were the only ones that I had in the house. Those and my little Living Dead doll collection, which does live entirely in my bedroom. But then I started making all kinds of other dolls, and the other dolls started sort of migrating. Um, my mom's favorite thing that I do by far, and by favorite I mean the thing she hates the most, is sometimes when I make dolls, they end up in pieces as I'm working on them. So my entire kitchen table here will just be like covered in pieces of dolls. um, yeah, so it's good times for her. Okay. Yeah, spooky parts. Um, Trying to think if I have a picture on my phone. I probably don't have a picture on my phone because it was before I got this phone that I made him. Um, but one of my favorite dolls that I made actually was a cyborg that had a bunch of wires coming out of him. So for a long time, I had not just doll parts, but doll parts with holes cut into them all over the house. Um, and I sold him a few years ago, so I may have to scroll down a bit here. But yeah, so like this is often what my table looks like with just like heads and pieces. um Kind of everywhere. Let's see if I can find Psy the Cyborg. Gotta be getting down there. Oh yeah, then there's this little dude that I have. He's somewhere on my desk way back there behind me, my little octopus guy that I haven't finished yet. Um there's some of my miniature furniture. Hi zombie doll. There's my Ruby Gloom. Did I go too far? There's Pennywise. I was talking about him earlier on the stream. If I can get the glare from my ring light to get off of my phone screen. But that was one of the first dolls I sold that had anything sculpted on him. Um, I was actually really surprised he sold as quickly as he did. I think he was only online for like 3 minutes. Um, because I had several people who were following him, waiting for him to be done to claim him immediately. Uh, there we go. All right. Here's my cyborg baby. So, yeah, for a long time I had not just doll parts, but doll parts with holes cut all over them. Uh so yeah, that was not her favorite to have around the house. Like it does zoom in. Okay. So yeah, you can see I carved one of his eye sockets out. I had little holes all over his body. I still think he's probably one of, if not the coolest thing I've ever made. But my mom hated that doll so much. When she saw me packing him up to ship him, I think she was about ready to throw a party. That was probably her least favorite thing I've ever made. But I thought he was super cool. He actually was another kind of learn as I go project because I had been trying to make a glowing radioactive zombie. But once I coiled all that wire inside his hollow body, it didn't light up enough. He didn't actually look like he was glowing, so I kind of changed gears. I was like, I bought all this wire. I'm gonna do something cool with it. So yeah, I started cutting holes in him and turned him into a cyborg instead. Um, but yeah, he was entirely an accidental project. I had no intention of making a cyborg when I started. I just knew that I had this hideous baby doll that was like really deformed. And I'm not saying that to be mean. Like, I collect dolls that are, what most people would consider to be ugly, but like this little dude was seriously deformed when I got him. He looked like Sloth from the Goonies. Um, but once I got him all assembled, I think he came out pretty cool. Yeah, she did not like him. I thought he was awesome. All right, get these wings on. I'm trying to think what the best way is going to be to glue these on because I do want to make like a casing. I guess I don't really have to make a casing for the wire. If I put the glue right where the wire is going to be and then squish it down, it should just attach around the wire, I think. So, let me move this a little bit. Okay. I'm going to get my wire positioned before I put the glue on. Oh, this is the wobbly side. That one's not going to stay positioned anyway. Okay. Let's do the top first. Oh, I need to cut one of these sides a little shorter on the inside because it's going to go under. Yeah, just be even a little shorter than that. I wasn't thinking about that when I cut them out. But yeah, this, if it's going all the way into the middle, the other side's going to need to be shorter so that it just goes in there. Let's see if that's... All right, that's perfect. Okay, so I got the wire on there. And then to make my casing for the wire, I think if I just put the glue right on top of it, Okay, so this glue gun actually is dripless. Like, that name is not a lie. I'm kind of impressed. But it still makes strings, and that's the one thing I hate about glue, hot glue. It's so messy. Alright, now if I sandwich this, that should make me essentially a wire casing, I would think. Strings. Yeah, okay, my wire is pretty well encased. So I should be able to glue the rest of the wing together and still have a posable wing. Yes, it worked. Okay, all right, here we go. Put the next wire down first. And then I'll worry about gluing them together on the edge. Get the strings off. That's okay. I normally have at least a couple of lurkers in my streams, so I don't mind lurking. I'm starting to get used to talking to myself. I don't usually have a whole lot of comment activity in my streams. It's been really nice though, not gonna lie. I've only been on Twitch for about a year, but I always seem to have my streams when there's just not a lot of activity in general. Which, fair play, because I specifically schedule my streams when nobody I follow happens to be streaming. Um, but oh well. I actually normally do video game streams on Thursdays and craft streams on Wednesdays, but this week has been a little unusual. I'll just put it that way. So nothing's really going according to plan. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I'm not going to worry about getting it right up to the edge all the way along. I just want to make sure I'm actually attached all the way down. Because if I start like doing all of my painting and dry brushing and adding effects and stuff, and then I have to reattach, I can't be getting paint everywhere, or I can't be getting glue everywhere once I start painting on the wings. So get all the glue on first. Get off of their strings. Oh my god. Oh no, they just came off of there. Shoot. That's okay, because the wings are going to cover that. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. So, now that that's on there, I'm going to glue down this middle bit. Ah, get off of my fingers. Let's try and get this string together really quick. I think it's just going to keep getting in the way if I don't get it all now. Is that all of it? That over there. Okay. Let's get this middle part down here. Blue strings. Okay. Now, oh, I should have trimmed one of these sides. When I had the other side and I could figure out how much to trim off, I should have done the other one at the same time. I think it was about that. A little bit more. I think I took too much off of the front of here, so actually this little piece is kind of perfect. I'm gonna do this. Add a little bit of that back to the front here. Yeah, okay. See, the extra weight that the wings are adding to the back is definitely helping him stand up a bit more, which is what I was hoping for. So, perfect. My tiny scissors go. Just gonna get. Okay. So, because these are suddenly falling out, I'm just gonna put more hot glue. Just because I don't feel like pulling out the resin that I used to put them in the first time. I could put them back in with more UV resin. I'm not dragging all the resin supplies out. This stream has been chaotic enough before I go dragging extra supplies into it. Let's just put all the glue strings over there. Okay. Next wing. I think I'm actually going to do this first so that I can kind of eyeball and make sure. Yeah, see, I need to take a little bit, just a little triangle wedge off of there. Just so I can make sure I'm gluing the center bit down at the same angle. Because my wires came undone, I can't really rely on them as my markers right now. So I'm going to glue the center part down first, just so I can make sure that I'm gluing everything at the right angle. It's just further chaos. We roll with it here. Just kind of learning as I go. Okay, there we go. So I think that's going to work to hold that. I'm going to put the glue to encase the wires. Well, maybe let me glue it just a little bit more, just because these aren't secured anymore because the wires came out. Just gonna put another little line all the way up to where they attach to the body and let that sit for a second. Okay, now that we're nice and secure, now I can move the wires and kind of pose them again. Yeah, all right, so that's gonna work. Do the top wire first. I just want to catch it with that glue as much as possible. Okay. And then I can take this one and encase it. Get that down in there and lined up. And now we're encased. All right. That should be encased anyway. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit more glue just under it, because I don't want the wire moving around. That's going to affect how posable my wings are, and I want them really nice and posable. So it's just gonna, there, encase them so that it's in its own little sleeve. Okay, I'm gonna do the same for the bottom wire, just like I did on the other side. Only I'm gonna kind of bend it down to pose it a little bit more. Let's just attach it on that side. A little bit more glue on this side. And line them up. Okay, and both wires should now be encased. Yep. All right, let's get all the glue strings and grab a drink. Getting a lot closer to being finished. Okay, so we'll just close up this edge. And you never want to push too hard because you don't want your glue to come out too much, like on this side. I pushed it a little too hard. You can always trim that off. I'm going to trim it off. But it's just easier if you don't have to. Okay, so this is pretty secure up there. Just making sure, oh, see there's a couple of places that aren't quite sealed. And just because I'm going to be like cutting the sort of shredded looking edges onto these, I do want them sealed really close to the edge. Just because that's going to make it easier to do all of that trimming later. Alright. Let's fix those antennas. You should stand up pretty nicely now, I would think. Oh, oh no. Uh-oh. Why is this side uneven again? I may need to put a little bit extra felt again. Okay, I'm not going to do anything right now because I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting the rubber shelf liner on the bottom of both feet. I think that that's probably the only thing that's really going to help him to stand up, because I didn't even out the bottoms of the feet before I painted him. That's my bad. Okay. That's all right. I can live with that. This is good enough for now. So I'm going to add the little fuzzy bit to sort of cover the join on the wings in the back. Then I'm going to oh, I have to glue the edges down. Yeah. No, I'm going to trim first because I want to make sure that these are going exactly where I want them. Yeah, see, it's a little too far up on this shoulder, so that's why I didn't glue it down yet. So I'm going to trim the edges, glue everything down, give them a little haircut. First, just need to cut a little oval. Yeah, it's about the right width. All right. So now that this guy's almost done, I'm going to have to start thinking about who I'm going to do next. Because I'm all set up to mold another of these figurines. I keep doing them because I don't really need to unpack any of the boxes that I have packed to get these guys done. Unlike, you know, with all of the dolls that I make, I pretty much have to unpack something. Whereas these guys, because the NerdECrafter kit includes everything you need, I don't really need to grab that many extra supplies. Like for Mothman, I just needed my the masking fluid to cover his eyes. I needed some black paint, some felt, a little bit of fur. I mean, the resin was already in the kit, so I've kind of been enjoying doing these because of the fact that I don't need to grab a whole bunch of extra stuff. It makes them actually pretty good to do on a stream because they're a nice self-contained project for the most part. There's also not a whole lot of mess, which I like. Other than with this guy, because I'm cutting faux fur, obviously there's going to be a fair bit of mess. You can never do anything with faux fur and not have a mess. Sort of just a given. Okay, so I'm going to trim that way down. Put that over in my scrap pile. Maybe even a little bit more than that. Oh, the owl's back outside. There's an owl in my neighborhood. I don't know where he lives, but I hear him hooing all the time, like at all hours of the day. We have a hawk too. Okay, so there we go. Just a little bit of fuzz, just to kind of carry over the moth body thing, and also hide where the wings are joined together at the back. Okay, now I'm gonna get this side trimmed over here. Oh my gosh, there's so many glue strings and little bits of faux fur everywhere. It's okay. We're nearly done. Then I can clean up. Okay. So, ow. Oh, owl. Yeah. I keep hearing him today. So I think he's closer than he usually is, which may or may not be a good thing. I don't know if owls eat squirrels, but we have a sick squirrel in the neighborhood. He's got like some kind of neurological issue. We've been calling him Wobbles, um, because he's very wobbly. I know it's not super original, but that's just what I nicknamed him. Um, and he hangs out around the yard a lot because we feed the squirrels here. We feed our birds, and we started feeding the squirrels to get them to leave the birds alone, and then my rabbit decided that she likes the squirrels, and they hang out together now, um, on opposite sides of the patio door, but, you know, still together. So now we have to be nice to them because they're her friends. Anyway, we have this squirrel named Wobbles who just falls over all the time. He can't really climb properly. He can't run because he falls over. Like at this point, he's been getting worse. And at this point, when he eats, he just like flops over on his side and eats laying on the ground. So we're pretty much convinced that he's not going to be around too much longer because either the hawk is going to pick him off or he's going to get eaten by something. But I don't know if owls eat squirrels. I don't know if that's why the owl is suddenly close when he's not normally that close to my yard. I hope he's not getting ready to eat Wobbles. I feel bad for Wobbles. I like him. He's my favorite of the squirrels, I think. Okay. There is a little bit that is pulling up right down at the bottom of the tummy that I'm going to glue down, and then I'm going to start trimming. So one of the nice things about using faux fur with hot glue is that it is going to seep out the edges. There's pretty much no way around that. But what I do is I just sort of push the fur over the edge as the glue is coming out, and then it catches the fur, and you don't really see glue spots. Well, you can see where it took the paint off, but you know, you don't really see the glue. You just have a furry edge, which makes it really easy to trim all the way to the edge without seeing either glue spots or fabric. Um, which is a little trick that I learned because I actually make werewolf blockheads with felt that has faux fur like this kind of glued pretty much in the same shape onto the bodies, and then I just trim it. Pretty much exactly like I'm doing for Mothman, which is where I got the idea. I stole from my own products. So I'm just going to trim this a little bit because I want them to be fuzzy like a moth more than a werewolf. Obviously, with the werewolves, I leave the fur a lot longer, but with Mothman, I just want it to be like a layer of peach fuzz, basically. Just black peach fuzz. So I'm pretty much going to trim it all the way down on the edges until there's just like a little bit of fluff above the edge. I do want to redo the neck though, because you can kind of see the edge there. So let's see if I can get just a really thin stream of glue going. Just really carefully along this top edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing and just fluff the fur into the glue. And then it hides the glue. And there's still some long spots, so I gotta do a little bit more trimming. Oops, some of the fluff is just like sitting in his little armpit here. There we go. Sorry, Mothman, I gave you a hairy armpit. Take it down just a little bit more. I feel like it's still just a tiny bit too full. Okay. There we go. All right, so he's got just a little bitty layer of fluff there. See, it's nice and short now. So it's just fluffy like a little insect body. He's got the little fluffy spot back here. And then the only other thing I want to do is I want to mix up a really dark, like charcoal gray, and dry brush the wings so that the wings also look just a little bit fluffy. And the antennas. And then he will be done. After sitting half finished for like a month. But it is 6 o'clock now, and I've been streaming for about 2 hours, so I think I'm gonna call it a day so I can clean up all this fluff. Because I don't like to do painting when my table's all fluffy. It gets too messy. So that's gonna be it for today. I am planning on doing a game stream tomorrow. I'm planning on doing Fran Bow on my streams, actually. Which, again, if you're not familiar with the character, this is Fran Bow. And it'll actually be my first game stream back since I got sick. So that's why I picked Fran Bow, because it's a game I've played like at least half a dozen times. Yeah, probably at least half a dozen times by now, but I love it. I never get tired of it. It's a nice, like, spooky but not scary game, so it's nice and chill. So I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Let's see. I usually do evening game streams, but I might do it in the late afternoon instead. Again, like this time frame from like 4 to 6. Just because I'm still, I mean, the anemia still has me pretty tired, so I don't want to be starting at 9 o'clock like I usually do. Um, spooky but not scary, kind of in the sense of like, it kind of very much to me feels like an Alice in Wonderland kind of thing, but if Alice in Wonderland was done by Tim Burton. I've also compared it to Coraline to people. Like it definitely has a spooky feel. Like it's very dark. There's a lot of very dark humor in it. But it's not like outwardly scary. Like the other game that I'm doing on my YouTube channel right now, Visage, is an out and out horror game. So like I don't stream that one because I can only do like an hour at a time of that one before like I get exhausted by it because it actually is really scary. But yeah, Fran Bow, it's just kind of like dark humor and dark imagery, but it's, you know, still kind of silly and fun. And it is more of like a puzzle game than a horror game. So I figured that would be a good one to do on stream because I can stream for like a couple hours and not be really exhausted at the end of it because it's just like a chill game. But yeah, so I'm probably going to do that one tomorrow. Yeah, I also put my streams up on YouTube after I finish them. So, like, all of my previous streams, I went through all of my saved videos. I put them all up on YouTube now. I'm also Spooky Doll Lady over there. So, like, my previous streams are over there. I have my game streams on there. And then I've started doing just for YouTube horror game series. I'm starting with Visage. I'm most of the way through Visage. I think I'm probably 2/3 of the way through Dolores's chapter, and then I have the end chapter, um, and that's it on that one. So, like, I already did Lucy's chapter, I already did Raken's chapter. I just have to finish Dolores and do the end chapter, but I've been doing that one, like, just for YouTube because I can do them in shorter bursts. Like, when I stream, I like to do at least a couple hours, but like the games series that I do, I just do an hour. Oh, it's not on my about page. Oh, you're right. Because I started my YouTube channel after I started my Twitch channel. So thank you for noting that. I will definitely put that on there. But yeah, I put all of my streams on. Like, as soon as I finish this, I will start the upload. And unfortunately, these streams, because they're dual camera and they're big files, they take a few hours. So this one probably won't be viewable until like late this evening or possibly even tomorrow morning. But when I do game streams, I just realized I never unplugged my glue gun here. When I do game streams, they usually upload within like a couple hours. So those, sometimes I can get them up same day. Um, so yeah, I'm going to do Franbo tomorrow, and then I do Visage on weekends on my YouTube channel. I'm only just starting to get back to doing 2 streams a week in addition to my weekend game video. So, um, anyway, I'm just making sure there's nothing else I want to say before I sign off. I think that's it. Next week's Crafternoon stream will likely be on Wednesday, assuming no more technical issues that force me to stream on a different day again. Um, and then Thursday will be the video game stream. That's my normal schedule. I think that is on my schedule page, is that Wednesdays are my craft stream and Thursday are the games. So I don't know. I need to check that page because I haven't updated it in a while, and after I got sick, I probably should have just taken my schedule down, and I didn't. But anyway, oh god, I got fur stuck to me with the hot glue now. So that's going to be it for today. This stream will be on YouTube tomorrow. Franbo will be here on Twitch tomorrow, and then on YouTube on Saturday. And then Visage, I will record either Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, and then next week, I am, fingers crossed, finally getting back to my proper schedule again. So, all right, yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys all next time.